Welcome to Life Passages, The Soul's Journey. I'm your host, Nancy Bloom, and the title of our episode today is Image Maker. And we have with us an image maker, who is Louis Anderson. And I'm quite taken with that phrase, image maker. What does it mean to you?
Well, since I got kicked out of being a photographer, I started becoming more of an artist. And so I quit calling myself a photographer, and because I really make images, not necessarily photographs.
And what's the difference between a photograph and an image?
Well, in
you?
my case, an image asks the question why, whereas a photograph just shows what's there. So it's a pretty big difference in the way that I treat the material. I might end up painting on it. I do lots of manipulation with software. So it's not really a straight photograph, what I call straight photograph anymore.
And the reason I asked you to come on the show is I find your images very captivating, and they take me somewhere. They take me on a journey, over a threshold, through a portal, and then as we looked at your images today just now, I realized how many of them really do even portray thresholds and portals and doorways and into mysterious realms.
Symbolism is a big way that you can connect with someone looking at your image, and it's a way you can connect with yourself when you're working on it. I get into the digital darkroom and just lose myself for many hours at a time inside of an image. And so sometimes it needs a ladder or a bird or something, so I'll just put one in there.
And do you have a feeling when you do that, like that it resonates? Or
Of course.
I would think it's very compelling, that whole journey.
Yeah, sometimes it starts with a photograph that's very straight, and then other times I go out and just collect little bits and pieces and throw them into a file, and then later on I'm working on an image and I go, oh yeah, I know what I need for this, and I'll pull it in.
It's a lot of raw materials that are available that you've assembled.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
And what are some of the influences that have been important to you in your journey through this work?
Well, that's actually what I'm going to do today. Is I'm going to show you the different artistic influences that have played a major impact on the art that I'm doing now. So we can start
let's do.
With the Japanese and Chinese landscape images. When I was quite young, I was very taken with Chinese landscape paintings.
So we're ready,
This is actually a painting by my mother. So she was an oil painter, and I grew up in a house always smelling like turpentine. So I always have to give her credit first. So we'll give her credit for showing me how to see the light. And then the Chinese landscape images also affected me very early. I would find them in the World Book Encyclopedia. And then the thing that I really liked about them was that the artists were sages, seers, hermits, and holy men that lived up in the mountains. And so they tried to tell the truth with images. And so from a very early age, I thought that was amazing. So here's an image that started out in Immigrant Lake here in Ashland.
So those were Chinese images just now, and this is your image
This is
that you created.
The next ones are mine. So it starts out, those two mountains on the bottom are pretty straight photographs from Immigrant Lake in the fog, and then I just built on them.
Wow.
So here's an image from Bodega Bay, where the top part of the image, when I took that, I knew it needed a bottom part. And so sure enough, 100 yards down the beach, there it was. So those are two images combined into one.
And what a magical journey that takes the viewer on. At least me.
I'm
feeling I'm on a magical journey with it.
Yeah. Another Immigrant Lake image. Our Oregon coast.
And I like that it's set up like a Japanese screen with the 4 panels.
Yeah, the panels are very nice because each panel by itself works as a photograph.
Yes,
then hopefully all the pieces make more than just the whole.
Yes.
And then it gives you permission to look around within each once, because some of these images are really big, like 64 inches wide, I believe this one is.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you permission to look around.
And I'm finding, yeah, I was just finding that each of those panels I was getting lost in as a whole in itself.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the ideas.
That's beautiful, the one we just saw.
This was in Medford one morning when we had the frozen fog. I snuck into the golf course over there. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I found this at the golf course really early in the morning. It was very cold.
Mm.
This is a sacred spot for the American Indians.
Is it Tillamook Falls?
I don't know the name of it, but it's near Gold Beach on the Rogue River. And I find it a really a sacred spot for me. And so that's what came out of it. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that sacred spot. It's coming right into my heart.
This is a place that's been photographed by many great photographers, Edward Weston and Ansel Adams and Minor White. And so I had to take it and do something that was my own. So I turned it into a Chinese landscape.
Beautiful.
And if you look up in the top left, you'll actually see a Chinese boatman. Which he never came, so I had to paint him in there.
I love that you have the freedom that you gift yourself with to add what needs to be added, whether by painting or assembling.
That really is what makes it fun. Yeah. Now these are a different set of paintings. This is not mine. These by American Illuminist, Hudson River Illuminist Painters. And they believe that you could see God in nature and in light. And they set out to capture that. So these are kind of American holy men, if you will.
Yes.
And they were very amazing, the way they could capture light and take a scene and make it very pastoral. Just a simple farm scene, but turned it into something special with the light.
As if you're in a scene yourself, and then suddenly the way the light is, you get imbued with the sacredness of that moment.
Right. Very powerful use of the light. And here Thomas Cole even painted what he was seeing in his unconscious with this angel going up to the light. So these were a big influence on me and my color palettes. Now this is mine. This is from Immigrant Lake. I was all set up. I'm down in the lake. The lake is drained. It's very cloudy outside, and all of a sudden this hole opened up in the sky, and this sun ray came across the landscape right into my view. 10 seconds later it was gone, but there it is.
And you caught it.
Yeah, I caught it. So you can see the color palettes are somewhat similar to the Illuminist.
Yeah, I see the influence, the Illuminist influence. Luminist or luminous?
Illuminist.
Illuminist.
And this is the Redwoods, which is one of the very hardest things to capture for me, because when you're there, it feels so sacred, and then when you put it in 2 dimensions, it's so hard. But fortunately here, I got some fog and some sun at the same time.
Yeah, and that helps hint at that mysterious world that they live in.
Right. This is just a local scene. This is on Bob Hope's ranch, 78,000 acre ranch down in California. Caught it at sunrise.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Lake Selmac.
Really?
Right here in that region, yeah.
Very mysterious.
This is Yachats. I had to babysit Grandma that night. I couldn't go out, and the sun was doing these amazing things. And so finally my wife came home. I ran outside and got one shot off before it was too dark, and there it is. So I got good karma for babysitting Grandma.
Yeah.
Lake Selmac again.
I'm loving seeing Lake Selmac in such a deeper way than I've ever seen it.
This is actually a pretty straight photograph except for the
Really?
colorations, yeah.
And you work the color a bit.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
This one I took half blind because I'd lost my glasses, but this is at Gold Beach, and I took about 10 shots, and fortunately a couple of them came out, and I merged them together.
Was that a blowhole, or what
It
is
is. It's a blowhole, and the sun is just right before it goes down. Like 20 seconds later, it was gone. So, and this is local over in Talent.
Uh-huh.
It's a very good exercise to shoot locally because it stretches your eyes, it opens you up to what's around you. When you go traveling, everything's eye candy, but when you shoot locally, you have to work harder, but you see more in the end. Rogue River.
I wondered. It felt like Rogue River. Are
Those
those deer?
No, those are geese. They were about 100 yards down the river, but I talked them into coming up here.
Oh,
Again, the redwoods,
again.
yeah. So I'm always looking for the heart. Along the Rogue River.
And I invite those watching to just continue to open to this deep visual journey. It's like a journey of the heart and soul through these painterly images.
I take a lot of landscape pictures with a long telephoto, which is unusual.
Long telephoto is what?
A long telephoto lens. So this scene was a really long ways from where I was on the beach.
And yet it seems so close.
Yeah, and most photographers use a wide angle. So it's really the opposite of what most people use. This is 30 Chigger Creek up in the Ozarks. It's about a 2-hour drive on a 1-lane dirt road. I don't really know the name of the creek, but I got 30 chiggers taking this shot, so that's
you
what I
named
called it. Wow. This is on the Rogue River, but I brought the boat in from Point Reyes. This is on Onion Mountain near Grants Pass. As you can see, I like trees a lot.
Yes.
I definitely like character trees.
And this is over by the coast?
Yes, this is at Bodega Bay, California, on the coast. And there's another cypress tree on the coast in California. And this picture, I took this same picture for 7 years. Every time I went to the coast, I loved that tree. And one morning I'm driving by, I swore I wasn't going to take a picture of my tree, but the fog was there and the light was coming through and the sheep were there, and in 1/25th of a second I got this image that I'd been trying to capture for 7 years.
Wow.
So
how fulfilling that moment would have been.
It's very magical when it happens. This is a tunnel of cypress trees in Point Reyes. And this is another influence of mine. This is Alfred Stieglitz. And he was really the first photographer to show that photography was art.
And can you speak the words that are there?
Yes. In photography, there is a reality so subtle, it becomes more real than reality. And he had an incredible eye for art. He had an incredible intellect. And from what I've been told, he had an ego to go with all of that. But his work is incredible. This is one he took in the streets of New York where he owned a gallery. And he used to do portraits. And this is one of his portraits. This is his wife, Georgia O'Keeffe, who was a painter, maybe the most famous American painter. And he saw her work and bought it and put it up in his gallery, and she didn't know anything about it. And when she saw it, she got in a big fight with him about it. Soon they got married, so I could resonate with that. And then because people were saying that he hypnotized people when he took their photographs, he got so mad. For about 8 years, he only took pictures of clouds. And he called the whole series equivalence. And he said people would see whatever it was they wanted to see. And so it really took art to another level. And these are pictures that I took, some cloud images that seemed appropriate to show a few. This is from the big fire, the Copco fire, right across the border in California. And I took these from the roof of my house.
And your house is where in relation to the fire?
Well, it's 25 miles away.
Really?
Yeah. These were huge clouds. They were just amazing. They were caused by the fire. The fire was so intense, it created its own weather system.
Oh,
is
what a
not a
contrast.
cloud, but still
It's
it
not?
has.
Is
No,
it water?
this is water. Yeah, this was printed large on canvas. It just it's a long exposure, so the water looks kind of ethereal.
Yes, it does.
Another big influence of mine is Jerry Ultimen, who is still alive, and he was one of the first people to do photo montages. And then he still does darkroom work with the old film.
Oh, wow.
And he had something like 17 enlargers in his darkroom, and he really perfected the art of this.
The surrealistic
Yes,
work.
and I really resonate with a lot of his symbols.
Beautiful.
And he's very much into using symbolism.
And symmetry in some.
And this is one of his more famous ones. I really like this one.
Yes.
So then you jump into mine. So this starts out at Agate Lake in Medford.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very foggy, it's very cold. And the trees, the birds in the tree and the birds flying across the landscape are the same birds, so it's just two different exposures.
Uh-huh.
And then as I studied it and worked with it with textures, I decided the tree needed to be bent. So I bent the tree.
Mm.
But other than that, it's a straight photo.
I love that you let the birds have their two places at one time.
Yeah, same birds.
All right.
Very science fiction. I like science fiction, so sometimes I kind of get carried away.
This is an amazing one.
Thank you.
Whew.
I tend to use quite a few pictures from the Hubble telescope. They're free. I paid for them with my taxes, so I'll grab them. So the whole top of that picture is a Hubble telescope photograph, and the bottom is just some images from the ocean.
So the top part is all the galactic material that you see in the Hubble.
Right.
Beautiful. I like the symmetry in that.
And then I like playing with images that are subtle, and you look at them for a long time, and all of a sudden you see something you'd never seen before. So for instance, if you look close here, you'll see a nun on the left-hand side embedded in that wall. And I'm not sure it will show up here, but it shows up on paper.
Uh-huh. These are very evocative, these doorways.
Thank you. These were two trees I saw in a field down in California, and I was just so taken with the juxtaposition in their attitude and their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to show that, I had to put them in the middle of a lake on an island.
Mm.
So many hours later, that's what happened.
And so you engineered the reflection.
I did, yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Were they as close to one another as
Yeah.
they show here?
Yeah, I didn't move the trees. I just put the lake around them.
Mm.
And that was printed on metal, which is a great
The one we
substance.
just saw?
The two trees in the lake.
Metal.
Yeah, aluminum. So
Uh-huh.
it's a big 2 foot by 2 foot aluminum image.
Mm. There's something so enchanting about that.
This started out with an image. I was working on a series called The Veil, and so I carried around this cloth with me wherever I went, and I would put it on stuff.
Mm.
And so this started out in the Jacksonville Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Then the bird came over from the coast, and the sky came from somewhere else.
Mm.
There it is.
What a journey.
This is just a blue heron from Immigrant Lake. It's called the Bird of Wisdom.
Mm.
Sometimes I'll use a title to give a hint of what the artist was thinking. I try not to tell people what to think, but sometimes people want to know, what was in the mind of the artist.
That's true.
I won't confess on this one.
Mm. Mm.
So, I like to use the symbolism. Some maintenance man had left that ladder there, and at first I was really mad because he'd left it there. It was ruining my shot. And then I realized it was the shot. So,
What a good realization.
yeah, it was very interesting.
Maybe that's like life. We think, oh no, it's messing up
Yeah.
my shot, but it is the shot.
Exactly, yeah. And this was also part of the Veil series. You can see the veil if you look closely in the background.
I'm having trouble. Oh, that's
It kinda
over
looks
the
like,
sky,
yeah,
right?
over the sky, yeah.
Mm.
Like Selmac, it's a very straight picture, except for I added the ladder there at the end.
Ah.
I liked it without the ladder, but the ladder made it for me.
Creates more mystery.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Some of my favorite symbols of the boat, the light, the bird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
This is another tribute to the American Indian. This is taken at one of their sacred burial spots in California.
Mm. Beautiful light on that journey.
Another sacred spot for the Indians. This is where the Smith River meets the Pacific Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to be there at full moon, and I just waited, and the cloud showed up, and I was able to catch that.
Enchanting.
Very straight image.
Right, it does seem like you didn't work it so
Didn't work
much.
that one. It's very straight.
It was complete when you got it.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful dance between those trees.
It is. Trees really speak to me. Those are sycamores, and those are pretty special trees.
Mm.
And a lot of my images also deal with impermanence.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to be drawn towards stuff that shows impermanence.
Mm.
On the Rogue River again. This is called dinosaur bones.
Mm. Mm.
This is up on Crater Lake. So if you ever want to see her dancing, that's where she is.
Right on the edge, huh?
Yeah. This is on the 17-mile drive around from Monterey to Carmel.
Mm-hmm.
Same place.
Looking at your images, I feel like I'd love to be in a room that has huge portrayals of each of these, and then be able to meditate in front of each one, because each one is inviting me into a journey. I'd like to
Yes.
take longer in those journeys.
A lot of the bird pictures, they're straight pictures, except I'll just change the background out.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you paint into that one?
I did. For a while, I got into this color palette of this pink and turquoise color.
Yeah, it was that last one was very painterly feeling.
Another example, I got really mad at this motorboat that sped by and made all these waves when I was photographing this, and then when I got home, I just loved the waves and the shapes.
Mm-hmm.
So, another lesson.
Yes.
This one's named Couples Therapy. Harris Hawks.
Ooh.
I was set up side of a lake trying to shoot these birds way across the lake, and this little guy came and landed right in front of me. So there he is.
There he was.
Yeah,
what
like,
a reflection.
Like 5 feet away from me.
Mm. Beautiful. Now the red on his back, did you put that there?
I did, because he broke his neck on my window, but I was dealing with a heartbreak of when I shot a sparrow one time when I was a kid, and it changed my life. And so I was dealing with those emotions some 60 years later.
Wow.
So that's what I did. This one's called The Decisive Moment.
Yes, I see him stepping out.
My mother-in-law, who had dementia, is looking out our window, and there she is from the outside. She's looking at this rainbow.
Oh, I see the rainbow. Now, who are they?
They were just some guys that came by. I was down at the beach, and there they were.
Mm-hmm.
This big tree in the back is just been cut, and the one in the front is a tombstone. It just struck me, the juxtaposition.
Mm-hmm. Did you put that boat there?
No, that boat was there.
Can't tell with you anymore.
Yeah, you never know. You don't trust me. This is, I tried to do a French impressionistic type painting there.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Carmel Mission, Rogue River. This is the same tree as the one before. This is from the top and the other one was from the bottom. So it's an interesting pairing.
Where's that?
That was in Santa Barbara, California.
We have 2 minutes, just letting you know. We'll keep going.
Well, I'm almost done. How's that? I'm done.
Oh my goodness. That was just so fulfilling
Thank
to
you.
open to those images and let them in and journey into them.
Thank you. Well, I used to be a closet photographer. I didn't show my work to anybody.
Really?
But at some point I realized that an image is not complete until somebody sees it.
That makes sense to me.
And so then I started showing my stuff at the Ashland Art Center. I've been showing stuff there for 4 years now.
Yes.
And just recently I was accepted into the Blue Sky Gallery in Portland. So I'll be showing some of the more abstract black and whites there. So I do like sharing my images. It's such a big part of me, and I just can't live up on the hill and be a hermit all the time.
Right.
So.
Through your solitude, you tap into these deep images, and then what a gift it is to all of us. Like, I've loved connecting with your images at that Ashland Artworks, is it called?
Ashland Art Center.
Art Center. And I've always wanted to know more about them. So I was, as we were doing this, I was feeling so fulfilled. This is what I've wanted.
Oh, thank you very much.
To find out more about these magical worlds and how they evolved, and to see more of them. And you know, it's changed how I see just that little journey, because now I'm seeing you, and over here there's some very soft kind of overlays of shadows on this screen behind you, so I feel like I'm looking at one of your creations.
Well, you do learn to look at shadows.
Yeah, I'm getting it. I got a big lesson in shadows and light just now.
Yeah, you definitely do.
And the evocativeness of that.
Yeah.
And so people can find your work then. You want to say again these galleries where your
Ashland
work
Art Center, the Photographer's Gallery, and I'm there personally every first Friday from 5 till 8.
Yes.
So if anybody's local comes down, I'd love to meet you. And then if you're in Portland, you can see me at the Blue Sky Gallery, or you can see me on my webpage at www.lewisanderson.net.
And thank you so much for coming to share with us. It was like a dream come true for me. I've wanted to go deeper into this world that you know, create for us.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So, and I'm glad that you got to join us on this amazing visual journey. May it enrich your way of seeing and living, and may you find those amazing moments in nature that take you deeper into your own deeper nature, and follow up on what Lewis offers. It's very life-giving, I think, and mysterious and inviting. So thank you. Be well.